Today's episode is brought to you by JetBlue, one of the best airlines for international travel, covering over 1,500 airports across the globe, and the official airline of now former New York Giants defensive coordinator Shane Bowen, who was fired from his position after blowing yet another late lead against the Lions on Sunday. And Bowen, 21 hours later, was spotted in Thailand after catching a flight from JetBlue from JFK Airport to Thailand. Couldn't deal with the stress of being the Giants DC anymore and working for a horrible organization. If you, like Shane, need a getaway, JetBlue is the answer. Thank you to JetBlue for not sponsoring today's video. All right, these were the Week 12 matchups. We saw Team GABA mutilate the Bower of London by 70 points. Team GABA rolling right now into second place. The Bower of London, with that loss, falling out of the playoff picture with just 1 week to go. Nakua and My Coffee emerged victorious over Bo's Bandits in a very high-scoring affair. Lamar, you ready for it? Crushed her spouse, Litter Biscuits, who scored 71 points. Litter Biscuits officially eliminated from playoff contention 2 weeks ago now, but a season of lows gets lower for the team that finished in second place last year after dominating all season. Jay Stu came away with a victory against Lam Bam Thank You Ma'am, ending Jessica Bien's momentum and putting her in a tricky spot with 1 week to go. But I'll tell you why I'm not worried for Jess coming up. Hope Emeka did not Emeka against her grandson, Brady Shola, who won by 10 and punched his ticket to the postseason, assuming things don't go drastically wrong this Sunday for him. Brady capitalized on losses by both Jess and Colby and scooted up to 7th place. Sean was on bye, picking up a win as he moves to 8-4. And then Bill's Bumbling Bobcats still stood no chance against Philly Special, thanks to the efforts of Jonathan Taylor. Our highest scoring team this week was Team GABA. She's now moved to 8-4. Team GABA, our winner from 2 years ago, and seemingly right now appears to be the only team even slightly probable of challenging Albion. Our best performing player was the reason Jay Stu scored about a third of her points, and that was Jahmyr Gibbs, who finished just shy of 60 with 3 touchdowns in a Lions comeback overtime win over the Giants that led to the firing of one Shane Bowen. But Gibbs just less than 63 total touchdowns and the highest fantasy scoring performer in 7 years. And boy, we have seen one other player cross 50 all season long, 2 last year, and then Gibbs almost had 60, highest score in 7 years. The previous record was Christian McCaffrey in his second year with the Carolina Panthers. I miss him so much. But gives Jay Stu some optimism for the consolation ladder, even though she is eliminated from contention. We saw one Jameson Williams be named to our Bust of the Week. Williams dropped a goose egg in that Lions game. Wasn't hurt. Didn't receive limited snap count. Just didn't get any targets, nor did he get any catches, and 0 points. That changed this week, though, in Thanksgiving, which we'll talk about in a second. And then our game of the week. No games decided by less than 10 points. No single-digit victories, interestingly enough. But that our game of the week was Drake May and friends coming out on top against Hope Emeka. And boy, do we have a game of the week coming up. We'll give our viewers a look at the standings here. Philly Special, again, continues to roll. You talk about, Al, how we have no teams in the 1600s in points for. Team GABA just shy of that. Only 3 with over 1,500. Al was 5 points shy of 1,800. So, again, just I don't know what he did during the draft, if he had some kind of magic 8-ball, some tips, but Al is on fire. And then the other thing I wanted to point out, interestingly enough, Al has the lowest points allowed of anyone in the league. There are just two other teams, not the lowest, but one of the lowest total points allowed. Are you ready for it? Also with a very low number. But Al, interestingly enough, just wanted to point that out if him and Team Gabba go head-to-head, and we'll talk about high-scoring affairs in just a second. But we'll show you the playoff picture. Philly Special and Bill's Bumbling Bobcats would face off in the 1-8 game. Our 2-5 game would be, or 2-7 game rather, would be Team Gabba and Drake May and Friends. We're Not Worthy would take on Bo's Bandits, and We're Not Naku and My Coffee would take on Are You Ready for It? The Bower of London, Lam Bam, Thank You Ma'am, both fell out of, or the Bower of London rather, fell out of a playoff spot. Drake May and Friends would end up taking said spot, and Lam Bam, Thank You Ma'am threw away a golden opportunity to continue her resurgence and move into playoff position with 1 week to go, but decided she didn't want to do that and preferred to choke. So now her fate is in her own hands this week. As you look, we give you that golden star there. There's a reason for that. Lam Bam, Thank You Ma'am, sitting at 6-6 in the 10th place. And you see 6 through 10 all in with a 6-6 record. Another one of those teams is Bo's Bandits, who she plays this week. So, SBN, it's that simple. Win and you are in, lose and you are done. She has the opportunity to knock her father out of the picture and scoot herself on in with a win, although granted she would need some help with a Colby BN loss to Hope Ayameke, a Drake May and Friends loss, or a Bills Bumbling Bobcats loss to Are You Ready for It? But still, Jess has a golden opportunity to make sure one team loses, and she would go to 7-6, and assuming she gets another loss from one of her fellow competitors, would be in. But we show you the rest of the week 13 matchups: the Bower of London and Hope Ayameke squaring off. Not a game in that one. Naku and My Coffee and Drake May and Friends. I'll be picking with Daniel BN, in which case, if that were to happen, Jess would get the other 6-6 team loss she would need. Lamar, Are You Ready for it? And Bill's Bumbling Bobcats. Lamar Jackson, back from injury, did not play well. I'm going to take Joshua. Litter Biscuits and J Stu. The Tank Bowl. The Battle of the Basement. I will be picking with Mike Ashola, who, not to spoil anything, but we will be hearing a bit from coming up. The Lam Bam, Thank You Ma'am, Bo's Bandits, our game of the week. I'm going to take Lam Bam, Thank You Ma'am. I like her chances. Team Gabba on bye, so we'll stay no matter what within either second or third place, most likely second. And speaking of third place, Philly Special takes on third place team We Are Not Worthy this week. Albion projected 150 points. It's truly a spectacle at this point, what he is pulling off. So again, another non-competition. And we'd like to remind our viewers the meaning of the word playoff. The teams in A, the playoffs, but B, the semifinals and championship rounds, they are truly the best of the best. This was last year's semifinals and championships. We saw games with scores of 149 to 159. Beautiful day in the neighborhood, taking down his father and fraud, Daniel, by the way, in that one. Just wanted to point that out. And then 182 to 169 in the other game. And then our championship, 162 to 208. To only two 200-plus point games in SBA League history, according to our research team, by the way. The first one of which was in our first ever League week back in 2019, week 1, when Colby Bien went for 204 points, and then the championship in 2025 when Colby Bien went for 208 points. I just wanted to remind all our viewers of that. But again, the third place game, little low, but still, the best players are on the best teams. That's why these teams are in these positions. So we just want to remind our viewers to what to look forward to in the playoffs, as difference makers like JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Jonathan Taylor, Albion's pride and joy, going to be featured, and I expect some similar scores. Now, let's turn it over to a special interview segment. I know this podcast is already a slightly long one, but again, it is the finale, so what is what it is. But we'll give you a special interview segment with Andrea Bienashola, Michael Ashola, and Brady Ashola. Let's turn to them. Hello, I am here with League members Brady, Mike, and Andrea, known otherwise as Drake, May, and Friends, Litter Biscuit, and Lamar. Are you ready for it? I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. Mike, I'll start off with you. Can you explain the name change from Mike's Humanly Manicured Cats to Litter Biscuits?
Yeah, well, I used to have a good, decent fantasy football team, but it turned into a turd. You know, keeping it with the cat theme, Litter Biscuits, it was pretty natural.
You are now officially eliminated from the playoffs for the first time in your SBA tenure. Any plans now that the season's over and you're relieved from the burden of your team?
Yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the Patriots. You know, you can't really have, I figure I can't have a good fantasy football team and a good Patriots at the same time. So this year, we're going to go with the good Patriots.
And last question for you. I see the Fulham jersey. What are your thoughts on your general finishing being very similar to your club, that being in the bottom 70%?
Well, I think you're going to have to get your facts checked, because in the
15th in the table.
Right now, they are 15th. The last 3 years, they finished, 10th to 12th, so mid-table. Yeah, this season's not, it's not good for Fulham, it's not good for Litter Biscuits.
But it is good for the Pats.
Go Drake May.
Yep. All right, Andrea, we'll move to you. You've officially clinched a spot in the playoffs, finishing ahead of both your in-house league mates for the first time ever. How does that feel?
Fantastic.
I'll bet.
Yeah, feels great. Yeah. But I try not to gloat and try to stay humble. I try to stay humble.
According to our research, Keenan Allen in your team for the 5th time, would you say you have a stronger connection with Allen or CeeDee Lamb, who previously on this show you've been accused of stalking the family of?
Yeah, I was accused of that, but there was never any evidence. I feel I was probably acquitted based on the fact that it was totally fabricated. I feel that I have a stronger connection to Keenan Allen than CeeDee Lamb. He was only on my team the one time. I think it was a mediocre performance because I didn't ever draft him again. I'm happy to see him, having a successful season, but I think Keenan Allen's my man.
All right, Brady, we'll move to you. Any reason in particular why you currently have 3 Patriots in your starting lineup?
I mean, why not? Patriots are the best team in the league right now, and why not roll with them?
All right, and how many Drake May social media accounts do you currently follow?
Yeah, how many does
Too
he
many to
operate?
count.
How many does he operate?
Yeah, I do operate a couple. And I follow Drake May Lover, Drake May Lover 2. Man, the actual Drake May. Well, then there's Drake May Lover 2.0, I think. There's a lot of them. Yeah. So I'd say more than you can count on your hands.
All right, and then your final question is, how do you feel about your matchup this week with Naku and my coffee, Daniel Bien?
I'm feeling very confident. Drake May is going to pull through and probably score 30 for me. I was projected to win at the beginning of the week, but of course Amon-Ra St. Brown got injured. But, I think that Drake May will make up for it.
All right, thank you to the 3 of you for joining us, and that will do it. Back to the studio. Right, that will do it for our Week 13 podcast, the finale to the regular season. The next time we will see you, it will be playoff time. But best of luck to all our teams competing this week.
who are still able to make the playoffs, and those that have already been eliminated, Michael, Jessica, and Marilyn. But that will do it. Continue to let us know how we are doing. Give us some feedback from our viewers about what you would like to see in these podcasts going forward. Again, this is a viewer-controlled show, but we will see you guys next time, and thank you for watching. Best of luck.